Hi, welcome to Sunstar Knits. I'm Ella, or Eleanor, and this is going to be another episode of my knitting podcast. It's going to be a short one. I only have 3 little updates for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about my Arctic light sweater, my Mohn cardigan, and then a new for you guys, whip. So we'll get right into it. I have a big update for you guys. So I finished the body of the Arctic light sweater, and I have started on the sleeve. The sleeve is on a cable here, with actually two of my, bring this closer, it wants to flip over. 2 of my Sierra Nevada Knitting Crawl acquisitions. So both of these stitch markers here I got on my Sierra Nevada Knitting Crawl. You may notice that there's no needles connected to this, and that's because the needles are part of my interchangeable needle set. No name, no brand, just from Amazon. And because both my Mohn and my Arctic light sweater have the same, I'm using the same needle size on them. I split up this. I will explain that more, but yes, those needles are being used for the Mohn cardigan currently. So I reached my goal for October. So I've started the sleeve, and I've now put this on hold until I get at least the sleeves done of my Mohn cardigan. So this is, again, the Arctic light sweater by Veronica Lindberg. I'm using Pound of Love in the color, I had to get another ball. So in the color, where is it? Olive, in the color olive. So yes, I think the ribbing, pretty much I got the entire body except for the ribbing done in the size large, with 1 ball of Pound of Love. So really happy about that. Like 0 ends to weave in. Just kidding, there's a bunch of knots. That's part of a problem with like these big brand yarns, is there's at least 1 knot per ball. So now moving on to my Mohn cardigan. Oh, I didn't even say that. This is actually not for me, so it's not my Arctic light sweater. It's for my sister. Sorry. If I'm all over the place, or I'm sniffing a lot, or I don't sound normal, that's because I actually am sick. So fall has hit us full force. My dad just got over a pretty bad sore throat cold, and now here I am with my normal sinus cold. So I have a stuffy nose. I'm bit of a sore throat, but that's just from mucus running down my throat. Sorry, probably a bit of TMI, but yes. So that is why I sound a bit different. So onto my Mohn cardigan. So last episode I had the sleeves on, both sleeves on this pair of needles, and that was because the body of my Arctic light sweater was using 2 cables, and then I had a cable holding my book club cardigan, and I have a cable on my Roman Villa shawl holding those stitches. So, and I only have 4 cables of varying lengths. So I had to wait for my body to finish to be able to split these sleeves up. I am still doing 2 at a time. So the way I'm doing it now is I'll work up the contrast color dot, and then I'll work up the main color dot on each sleeve. So it'll be like contrast color dot here, then I'll work up contrast color dot, and then I'll go main color dot, main color dot. So we're running into a bit of a problem here. I first off misread the pattern. So this green repeat is supposed to be, that I've started here, this green contrast color repeat, I'm supposed to only have one more dot to repeat. But the whole reason I started this sleeve with green dots is because I thought I was going to have an even number of dot repeats, and I didn't want to figure out how many rows I needed, and it was a whole thing. And in her video, she gave like a way to figure out if you needed to start with the same color that you started your body with or the other color. And so I thought I would have to do the other color just based off of the video. But looking at the pattern, counting up how many dot rows she's had, it's looking like it's with all of the shaping, the sleeve is supposed to be 13 dot rows, like dots repeats, which means I would be ending with a green, which is not the same color as my body. But this is a blessing in disguise because it means I have to do another white repeat in order to end. So I now have to do 2 more dot repeats, which is 1 more than I was supposed to have to do, in order to get the correct colors. But that is a blessing in disguise because I messed up the increased shaping. So in the pattern for the size I'm making, it says that you are supposed to increase blank amount of times for every 8 row. And it says row. And she commonly refers to the different rows of the dot pattern as a row. So in the beginning, like for the first, probably like this much of this, like the first 2 repeats of the sleeve, I read that as every 8 rows with an S. So I was like, okay, so every 8 rows I do an increase on each side. Great, cool. And when I was going back through and reading the pattern again, I saw that it didn't have an S, and I was like, oh, okay, so am I supposed to do this every 8 row? Like every 8th row of the repeat? So I started doing that instead, and I started doing it on every 8 row, which is in the main color dot. So that was 2 increases for every dot. And then as I'm coming to the end here and I'm counting, I'm like, I'm supposed to only have 1 more increase. Like, I'm supposed to only have to do, like, 1 more increase row to get the correct number of stitches on my needle. But I'm like, based on my stitch count, I need 3 more rows. So, 3 more increases. So, she just, like, there's a typo in her pattern. And so when you get to that part, it's supposed to have an S. And I read into it way more than I thought like I needed to. So that's a mistake on my part. So it's actually great because it allows me, because now this next purl row, I'll do an increase, and then I'll do an increase on that 8 row, and then I'll do another increase on the last 8 row, just to like get it to the correct stitch count. So it's actually a blessing in disguise. So instead of having to put 3 increases and have kind of a drastic like increase like here, sorry, it got really dark. So it's like supposed to rain tonight, and like be cloudy. So it's gonna be cloudy and like the sun's gonna be coming in and out, and it's like 5:30 right now. So I'll just talk right here for right now, so there's a bit better lighting. But yeah, I'm filming this right after I got off work, and I'm trying to do it a bit quickly because I still have a whole bunch of like homework and stuff I need to do. And obviously I still need to like eat dinner and all that, but I still have like, I think I have like 3 assignments due tonight that I haven't started. Thankfully they're all discussion posts, so if you're like a more recent college student, they're all Canvas discussion posts, so they should be super easy. They should be like, I think I actually only have 2, so it should be like 2 hours of work tops. Sorry for that tangent, but yes. So blessing in disguise, but it means I will most definitely like absolutely not have enough yarn to of the main color yarn to finish, because this is the ball I have left. But like my thing is, so I don't know when I'm actually gonna finish these, because I'm like, it's Knit yarn. It is a $4 skein of yarn, and I just like looked on it just today on one of my breaks at work, and I was like, okay, I had seen the Totally Tubular turtleneck tank. I don't know who it's by, but I saw that Amy from Knits had made that, and I was like, oh, cool, like, that's Knit yarn. Like, she mentioned it was, like, originally Knit yarn. Like, I can just add that to my cart, and, like, that way I'll have yarn for 2 projects. I can get this one skein of yarn, I can get that yarn, and, like, whatever. And I had that yarn in my cart, and I was waiting to buy it because I was like, it's $53 like for the 5 skeins plus this like $4 skein, because it was like $10 a skein, which is like way more than I normally will spend. But I was like, okay, like I really like the tank top, like I think it'll be cool, it'll be a nice layering piece, yada yada yada, trying to convince myself to spend this money. But I was like, I'm gonna wait until I get paid, because that should be in like this week or next week, should be relatively soon. And so I was like, okay, I'll wait. But then I was like, as I was thinking of it, even though I love the color of this yarn, and like the yarn was really good, and like it was gonna be great, I was like, I like just like was not actually feeling the pattern. I wasn't feeling the turtleneck tank top. And I was like, I'm not gonna wear this. Like, I don't wear tank tops very often, as that's a bit of an irony for my next pattern. I was like, I don't wear tank tops, let alone like, even if I do wear it with like a shirt under it, like I don't have a lot of long sleeves. Trying to rectify that, but again, it's like not a necessity and not something on the top of my mind, so I don't want to spend money on it right now. But like, I'm thinking about all these things, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I want to start building my like what I'm making and what I'm hand knitting around what I want my style to be. And I'm very much like, I love the academia style. I love both light. I love both light and dark academia. Like, I love that style for like fall and like winter and stuff. It's not the best like summer style, but like I love the vintage style. And like that. So I'm like, the Tudor blouse is very much in that style, ready to make it. The novice cardigan is very much in that style, ready to make it. The Mohn cardigan, I will totally be making again for myself, because it's very much in that vintage academia style. But this like turtleneck tank, I mean, like, it's kind of, but like not really. And I'm not really feeling it, especially for how expensive the yarn was. So I will probably be substituting, like, I'm not going to buy the just one skein of yarn. Sorry, this is a very long tangent, just to say the $4 yarn would be $11 to get, just buy that one with shipping and stuff. Sorry, my dog is also right behind me staring at the door. So if he starts barking or anything, I will very quickly either stop talking or pause the video so you don't have to hear it. But I'm thinking I'm going to use the Wool of the Andes bulky Knit Picks yarn just because I have some beautiful colors. But now my dilemma is I don't know what color to pick. Like, I don't know if I want to do a blue. I don't know if I want to do a gray. Because I wear gray. Like, I wear gray. And then I could have, like, a statement piece pants. But I just, like, there's this really pretty yellow. I'm really wanting to do yellow, but, like, the Tudor blouse is yellow. So I don't want to have, like, multiple yellow. Or it's burnt orange. It's an orange. But, like, still, I don't want to have, like, two, like, very similar colors on the needles at a time. And, like, if I had a big enough following, I'd probably put a poll out on, like, Instagram, but I don't. So I kind of have to wait until my mom comes home. Or I guess I could text her. But, like, my mom's kind of my, like, go-to. I'm like, I'm thinking, like, these 3 colors. Which one do you think will look best on me? Type thing. But my mom and dad just left this afternoon to go visit my grandparents, my mom's parents and stuff. So very long rambling. So yes, I don't know when those will be done. I'm going to work until the mulberry runs out. But yes, I don't know when I'll have yarn for that again to finish the sleeves and do the button band. If I had picked the right color, and I'm like, yeah, I could totally rip this back, but I'm not going to, because if I rip it back, I will lose all momentum, and I will lose my mind, and it will not get done before Christmas. It's probably realistically only like a week more of work, like on and off, just like my knitting speed, a week more of work. So once that runs out, I'll switch back over to full-time doing this one. And then once this one's done, I will be finally casting on the Tudor blouse. I've kind of forgotten about the Percy socks. I kind of need to finish those. But, like, honestly, you can do ghost socks any time of the year. So the paranormal is not relegated to just October. So let's get into my final whip now that that little tangent is through and done with. So this is actually, obviously, once you see it, it's not a recent cast on. It's actually I think it's from last spring. So I don't know what kind of yarn this is. I don't remember the pattern. I'm kind of just gonna make a new one as I go now. I know it was a free pattern, and I know this was hand-dyed yarn. I believe one of these was from, like, Valkyrie yarns, something like that. But I'm calling this my Aurora tank, and you will see why. So I first got this. That's pretty true to color there. So this beautiful blue hand-dyed yarn with, like, all of these, like, beautiful stripes and variegation is the first skein I got. And I got this one because I was driving to school, because I live about 45 minutes in good weather and good traffic conditions away from my school. And so I had a break one day, and I was like, okay, there's a yarn store in town. Like, it was literally the only yarn store in the town. Like, I'm gonna go see what they have. And I did, and I just fell in love with this skein. I believe it's fingering weight sock yarn. And I'm like, I don't knit socks. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna knit with this. Like, it's such fingering, but, like, I really love it. So I bought it, and I started making some, and I found whatever tank top pattern I found. I don't know. And I, like, found it, and I started making it. And by the time I got, like, partway through the stripe, I realized for my size, I'm not gonna have enough yarn for this. And so I went back, and, like, obviously it's a small yarn shop. Like, they didn't have another skein of it, and I was, like, kind of already, like, partway through, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to just, like, start switching skeins and stuff because it's hand-dyed yarn. So I was like, oh, well, obviously this was also a discussion with my mom and stuff. And I was like, oh, what if I get like, this is a really pretty blue, but it kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen Sleeping Beauty, like the dancing scene where the flora and fauna, I don't know, the two of her like fairy godmothers, and she's like dancing with the prince in the end after she's like been awoken and whatever, and they're going like, pink, no blue, no pink, no, and they're like changing her dress color from pink to blue and pink to blue. I think they also do this like when they're making the dress, but what popped into mind was the dancing scene. I was like, oh, like I'll just get like, talking with mom, I'll just get like a really like pretty like pale pink and like switch the color and then switch it back to the blue and like switch the color a couple times during the thing. And I love the idea. That's why it's called my Aurora top now. So I switched to this really like nice, like lightly variegated. It does switch from light to dark a couple times. Pink skein. That's right here, all nice and caked up. This might be the one for Valkyrie's. Not 100% sure. So when I was earlier in like September, yes, that's the month before October. Late September, early October, there was a wildfire really close to my house, or not like really close, but like within close enough concern, and like looking at the winds and like stuff, like we thought we might have to evacuate. So I was like packed my go bag, then I packed my like go bag is necessities, so my go bag, then I packed my like sentimental bag, and then I packed like two. So go bag was like it was literally just a backpack, and it was like toiletries, clothes, and like chargers and stuff, and then like obviously we have all of our important papers and like all that. And then there's like my sentimental bag, which is like a quilt that my mom made me, a couple of books that are like from my childhood, and then like a couple different like my grandma's sweater, because I have to still rework that. We'll talk about that later, or in a later video, and like a couple other things. And then I packed like my, if we have time, it would be nice to bring these type bags. And so those were full of like yarn that I was like, this is expensive yarn, like I want to keep this yarn, and like my knitting stuff. And then another bag was full of my whips. And so I was packing up all my whips, and this was one of them, and this kind of ended up on the top along with my more current whips. So when it kind of came out like that the fire was changing direction and going back, like burning onto itself again, and like we were probably going to be fine. So I went back like through the bag to get my current whips, and this was kind of laying on the top. And earlier this week, it was last Wednesday, because on Wednesdays I have my double day at work. So like I go to work, I come home, and then I go back to work. I started taking my dog Swanson to the dog park. So I was like, I need like a small project. I don't want to be bringing a bajillion bags, and like I don't want to have to carry a big bag anymore over my shoulder. So I just like, I like saw this because it's on my landing on my way to my door, and I like just like picked it up, and I was like, we'll take this. Like it folds down, just because the way needles are, it folds down really easily, and like it's super nice. It's straight stockinette, whatever. And I've made, since then, it's kind of become my like, I talked with my sister for a while last night and knit on it then. It's kind of just became my like, I need something to do with my hands, but my brain needs to be like focused. So kind of my like schoolwork, like listening to my textbook or like watching my videos and stuff, like that project. And it's kind of really burned my fire again. But I distinctly remember, I can probably find the pattern, but I'm going to deviate from the pattern a lot, because it was supposed to be a tank top, and the pattern, I know it's a free pattern because I wouldn't pay for a pattern like this. And there's one where you can like have your normal tank top, and then there's another one where it's like you can make a little tie here. And I think what I'm gonna do, because I think I need the whole top before I start the shaping for the straps to be like 10 inches is what I want. And right now, not including the ribbing, I think this chunk is 3 and this chunk is 4. So that's 7 with like 1.5 inches of ribbing is 8.5 inches. So I'm gonna do another like 1.5 inches in the pink yarn, and then I'm going to do this color work that's just a chart I found on Pinterest to like change back to the blue, and then I'm gonna do 1 inch of the blue, and then I'll start on the straps. However those straps are done, or like I'll see where it ends up on my armpit. I'll like try it back on, and then I'm gonna do the straps, and then I'm gonna pick up, like hopefully I have enough, because I think I did stop, like I had enough sense to stop using the blue yarn close to about 50 grams left. So I should have enough. And if I don't, I can always deviate from this plan and just do a tank top. But I want to do the straps, and then I'm going to pick up sleeves in the blue, and then probably do like 3 rounds in the blue. Maybe do some short row shaping, because it's not going to be drop shoulder. So I'm probably going to do short row shaping, and then I'm going to change back with that same color work to the pink, and then do a sleeve in the pink with some ribbing, and then do a sleeve in the pink with some, like do the same thing on the other side. And then whatever I have left, I'm going to use for, I don't even know if I'm going to make, I don't know. I'm trying to make this tank top into just a normal t-shirt, but I don't know if I'm gonna have enough yarn, and I can't like go back and buy, because this was like in the spring. They probably don't make these like colorways anymore. I don't know, but that's a future me problem. So this is my Aurora top. Oh yeah, it's got a split hem. So it's fingering weight yarn. I believe it's probably superwash wool with some nylon on some, oh, there it is, US 4 needles, 3.5 millimeter. Sorry, the millimeter, it's like, so these are metal needles, obviously, and that right there, I don't know, that little glare, that tiny thing is the millimeters. So it's almost impossible to see the millimeters without the right lighting. So yes, so those are my, oh wait, hold on, I have future plans. I'm not just gonna do stuff. So I'm thinking once I finish this being my the Arctic Light sweater, I'm going to pick up my book club cardigan again. But as part of the Breeze, if you watched my fall knitting plans video, the Breeze sweater, I think I'm just going to push off until winter. That's the season. So I'm going to push the Breeze sweater off to winter, because I've made him a hat. I do have a finished object, but it's just a simple knit ribbed hat. I used Passionate by Kelsey, like Passionate Kelsey's chunky ribbed beanie tutorial for that, and just like a random skein of yarn I had. So he's going to like have that as his like Christmas gift. We're not really doing gifts this year, which I was not told of when I started these 2 projects. or I wouldn't have pushed myself to finish them. But now that they're on my needles, they're getting done. Sorry, with my eyes that wide, it looks kind of crazy. But yes, so the breeze sweater I'm going to push to winter, but in 2 different instances I saw it. So on TikTok, I was scrolling TikTok and I saw a sweater that was really pretty. It was like blue, and like this was like a patterns I want to knit this season or whatever, or patterns that come out in a week. It was something like, it was like a pattern roundup, but for TikTok. And it was this blue, gorgeous blue sweater, and on the sleeves, just the sleeves, it had this like color work of a tree with snow falling. And I'm like, that's perfect for where I live. I love the look of it. Like, it's not I've realized that I just talked about making things that fit in the academia and like my style, but in academia styles, there's not a lot of sweaters. You've got like vests and long sleeves and like jackets, and that's really it. But I quite enjoy wearing sweaters, so I'm kind of like adapting that to fit my personality. So I'm going to continue wearing sweaters, and I'm going to make sweaters, and I'm just going to like wear trousers with them or like make them more the style. But it was like wide sleeved, and I like didn't even like, I saved the video because I'm like, I'm making this winter. I love this. Like, this will be perfect Christmas sweater type thing. Especially if you like made one of the trees into like a Christmas tree and like duplicate stitched a star on top, or like put some like little sequins. I've seen people put sequins on them. But I like saved the video and I was like, okay, when I get to it, I'll like find the pattern or whatever. But then I was watching a podcast episode by, I believe her channel name is Made by Jo. She's a Scottish knitter. She does a lot of socks. I'm not a sock knitter, but I employ her effort into socks. And she pulled up, so apparently it's like the Snowy collection, and it's by Knitting for Olive, and there's a hat, a vest, and the sweater. And she wants to make the vest, but I was like, that's the pattern. That's the one I want to make. Like, so now I know the name of the pattern, and I'll probably just do the exact same yarn and stuff because I loved it as is, and I'll get the Knitting for Olive yarn because obviously it's going to be in the yarn. So that's a future plan. That's probably a winter plan. And yeah, that's honestly the only future plan, but I was really excited that like it had shown up twice in 1 week, that I had like found the same pattern. I was like, it's meant to be. I'm meant to make this pattern. So that'll probably actually be my first sweater for myself, because I'm realizing throughout making these two cardigan and sweater, I'm just gonna call them sweaters, these 2 sweaters, is that I have yet to make, like, I have one like whip that's a sweater for myself, and like I have a couple of like maybe things you would consider sweater. Like, I don't consider a sweater. Like, I've made myself a crochet cardigan, like a crochet granny square hexagon cardigan, but I don't really consider that a sweater. Like, I don't consider that the same amount of work as a knit sweater, because like that was all freehand. It was in my head. I wasn't following a pattern or anything, because crochet comes really easily to me, so I wouldn't consider that the same level of work as a colorwork sweater or just even like a normal knit sweater. Like, I wouldn't consider it the same amount of work. So it's made me realize I'm making both my sisters and maybe my dad a sweater before I made myself a sweater. So I'm like going to take the winter season and really like knit myself a sweater at bare minimum, because I don't know if I'm gonna get to the novice cardigan before fall. I'm really just hoping to get to the Tudor blouse, because I really would like that. I'm like, I have a whole outfit of like, for that, like pattern in my head that I don't even have all the pieces. Like, I have none of the pieces for that outfit, but it would be a really cute outfit. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, I've been a pretty monogamous knitter for the past couple of, like, okay, I've been diamorous. I've been pretty diamorous the past few weeks. And I think my next video, unless I make some sort of giant progress, like I finish a sleeve or whatever, it's probably going to be a Frogger finish video, just because I have so many like semi-abandoned whips that I kind of have to go through to be like, am I gonna finish it? Like, realistically, do I want this still, or should I just like frog it and donate the yarn, do something else with the yarn, all that. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a wonderful time watching me ramble on and go on a lot of tangents. But I'm going to leave you with a little shot of my dog. So here is my dog, Swanson. Swanson, can you see him? Oh, he's moving. He thinks I'm gonna pet him, because I am. Sorry, this is kind of, I might cut that out. Here's a better video of him. Here's Swanny Swan. Here's my Bubba's. Here's my dog. He's so cute. He is a Labrador, flat coat retriever, husky mix. He's a mutt, and I say that in the kindest way possible. But he's a mutt who loves his neck to be scratched. Once I get his collar off, I'll give him lots of good neck scratches. Okay. Bye.